Over the weekend, more damning reports about FBI Director Kash Patel's disorderly, drunken, and deranged behavior came to light. The Atlantic's reporting only confirmed what Senate Democrats have said from the start. Kash Patel is not simply unqualified. He's a grave risk to the rule of law and to American national security. I have called on Acting Attorney General Blanche to preserve all records, all communications, and other evidence regarding Kash Patel's dangerous behavior before the Trump administration tries to brush it under the rug. Again, we're calling on Acting Attorney General Blanche to preserve all records, communications, and other evidence regarding Kash Patel's dangerous behavior before the Trump administration tries to brush it under the rug. The Atlantic interviewed dozens of people who have observed Patel's erratic behavior, his excessive drinking. Apparently, Patel frequently misses key briefings and meetings because he's too hungover to attend. Patel's security detail often struggles to wake him up after his nights of partying, and once even had to ask for breaching equipment because Patel was unresponsive behind a locked door.
The FBI director's own security detail needed breaching equipment to wake him up. That is not a tabloid rumor. That is from the Atlantic's investigation, 24 sources, current and former FBI officials. Now Patel is suing for $250 million. The Atlantic said 4 words back, "We stand by it." And Schumer just forced that entire record into the Senate record. If you want this tracked every day, hit subscribe, because now watch how this started.
All of this is made even worse by the reports of Kash Patel's constant jet setting on the taxpayer's dime, his illegal crusade against Trump's political enemies, and his purge of countless counterintelligence officers who focused on Iran just days before Trump launched this reckless war. Americans deserve steady, sober leadership from their FBI director, and they're not getting it, it seems, in any way. Kash Patel's job is to protect the American people and our Constitution, not to party on the job. Patel must resign immediately. Every day he remains in office subjects America to serious and unnecessary risks. On Iran, Donald Trump continues to demonstrate that he has no plan to end his disastrous war of choice with Iran, and no idea just how badly the American people are hurting because of it. Companies and airlines are charging Americans an Iran war surcharge. Mortgage rates are climbing. Gas is still over $4 a gallon. Over the weekend, Trump's energy secretary said that gas prices won't be normal until 2027. If you don't believe Chris Wright, believe Donald Trump. Trump said gas prices will, quote, be around the same or maybe even a little higher, his quote, by November. His words, not mine. Just the other day, Trump said that $4 for a gallon of gas is not very high. That's what he said. And that everything's doing really well, really, Mr. President. Spoken like a man who doesn't have to fill up his own tank. Try telling the American people, who will spend an average of $740 more this year on gas because of this war, that, quote, everything's doing really well. And unfortunately and sadly, there's no end in sight. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Iran fired on commercial ships over the weekend. The U.S. seized an Iranian vessel. According to Trump, J.D. Vance will be on his way to Pakistan soon, but it's unclear whether the Iranians will even agree to meet with him, let alone agree to open up the strait. 51 days into this war, and Donald Trump still does not have an objective, a strategy, an exit plan. The American people have questions. Congress must demand answers. Last week, Senate Republicans had their 4th opportunity to support our War Powers resolution. And for the 4th time, Senate Republicans acquiesced to Donald Trump and gave this historic blunder their stamp of approval. Tomorrow, Senate Republicans will force a fifth vote on our War Powers resolution. We will continue to force votes on our resolution every single week that Trump's war continues. The most important vote a senator can take is whether to go to war. Senate Republicans cannot sit on the sidelines while our service members are risking their lives on the front lines. I don't know how Trump's war will end, but I do know that Trump's war cannot end soon enough. On reconciliation, what does this majority choose to spend our time on instead? Any hour now, Republicans are expected to release a budget resolution that adds tens of billions of dollars to the national debt, pumps colossal sums into ICE and Border Patrol without any reforms at all, while doing absolutely nothing to lower costs for hardworking Americans. We need to pause and examine how we got to this moment. Because in a well-functioning Congress, the majority focuses on solving people's problems, not constantly cleaning up their own messes and shoveling tens of billions more into unaccountable rogue agencies. Remember last year in Donald Trump's big ugly betrayal, Republicans rammed through $75 billion for ICE and tens billion.
Here is what this floor speech actually shows. The FBI director is allegedly too drunk to attend his own briefings. The counterintelligence officers he fired, the ones focused on Iran, were pushed out days before Trump launched his war. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Gas is over $4. 8 American service members are dead. And the administration's position is crime is down, so nothing to see here. That is not a defense. That is a distraction. Patel's lawsuit against The Atlantic is not going to make 24 FBI officials disappear. It is not going to explain why his security detail needed breaching equipment. And it is not going to explain why Trump's FBI director allegedly had to be dragged out of bed while Iran was in the crosshairs. Republicans have blocked this War Powers resolution 4 times. 4 times they chose Trump over the Constitution. They cannot claim ignorance. They chose this. Patel's $250 million lawsuit is exactly the move of someone who cannot answer the question. You don't sue a magazine for $250 million because the story is wrong. You sue because the story stuck, and because you know the internal sources are real. The Atlantic is not backing down. Schumer just put this on the Senate record, and the question of who is actually running the FBI, whether it is a functioning director or an absent one nursing a hangover, is no longer a whisper. It is a Senate floor speech. It is a lawsuit that confirms the story has legs, and it is a record that is not going anywhere. That clip is going to follow Kash Patel for as long as he holds that badge. Like and subscribe if you want the next one the moment it drops.